Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me live from Times Square Nasdaq Market Site studio, we have Ryan McCormack, core and factor equity strategist at Invesco. We also have Efram Slen. He is the head of index research with Nasdaq Investment Intelligence. Gentlemen, it's great to have you with us, especially live and back in the city. And of course, a momentous day for Invesco, ringing the closing bell for the Nasdaq. And Ryan, I'd like to start with you first because it really is a deep relationship that Invesco and Nasdaq has together.
No, it's great to be here, and you know, it's been 2 years before we've been able to finally sit down in person again. So it's just great to be back, and of course, super strong partnership with Nasdaq. I mean, on top of kind of the innovation suite, you know, we partner globally on over 70 products. So today, the expansion of the innovation suite into the ESG realm, we couldn't be more excited and couldn't be happier to be here.
And you know what, today is a really good day to be talking about ESG because I feel like a lot of the content that we've been covering on Trade Talks is certainly around that, not just from the investment perspective, but also the data perspective and how we're looking at those different data sets. And I think this is a great segue for you, Efram, when we talk about our NASDAQ indexes and what we're working on with ESG. Give us a little bit of background.
Sure, yeah, so today we're here, of course, to be with Invesco for the ETFs launching, but I want to talk about the indexes for just a minute. So we launched the Nasdaq 100 ESG index back at the end of June, and a month later we launched the Nasdaq Next Generation 100 ESG index. We partnered with Sustainalytics. We're utilizing them. They're a leading ESG data vendor, been in the space for nearly 30 years. Really excited to have those indexes utilize their data there. The core and the idea behind those two indexes, right? It's to make sure we're getting a very low tracking error to the benchmark. So they're meant to be a complement to the Nasdaq 100 and the Next Gen 100. And the other element too, it's most important, right? When in doing so, we're removing only those companies that are really breaking the most controversial elements to the ESG, right? We're trying to make sure that at the same time, right, that we also modified the weighting element within the index, and that was the way we're able to get that lower tracking error. So we utilized the ESG risk score to do that.
Right, and it's really interesting, Ryan. I spoke with a fixed income strategist this afternoon, and they were saying that the ESG investment market could be 53 trillion by 2025. That's 3.5 years away. So clearly investor demand is there. Tell us about the addition to the innovation suite.
Yeah, so you know, I think as we look here, just a year ago we were launching QQQM and QQQJ, right, tracking the Nasdaq 100 and Nasdaq Next Gen. And at the time, it was an expansion of our innovation suite. So beyond QQQ, with QQQM and QQQJ, which by the way have become two of the most successful ETF launches in Invesco's history, those three funds sit at over $200 billion of assets. And we're very excited to bring kind of an ESG tilt with the launch today of QQMG and QQJG on these two leading indices. So we think the investor demand is certainly there. Investors are looking to introduce ESG into the core, and we think these are two very great ways to immediately introduce some of that ESG into the growth side of the equation.
All right, Ryan, Efram, great to have you back in studio. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.